Do you want to become the best player you can possibly be in the finals? Well, you're gonna need some good movement, which is why I put together all of the best movement tech I could find and put them all in this one video. All of these should work on both mouse and keyboard and controller. Subscribe if you're enjoying the finals so far, and starting out in the settings. For mouse and keyboard users, you want to make sure you rebind shift to toggle the sprint instead of hold the sprint. Then for you controller players under controller behavior, make sure you have your sprint behavior set to toggle. A lot of the movement tech I'll be going over requires you to sprint, and in the finals, toggle and hold the sprint work a little bit differently. So when you have toggle the sprint, it allows you to activate it while you're in the air or on a zip line. Then as soon as you hit the ground or jump off the zip, you'll be sprinting. Now if you want to slide, you'll have to be sprinting first. It doesn't matter what angle the surface you land on is or how fast you are moving. If you are not sprinting, you can't slide. This makes toggle the sprint much better. So now for the movement tech, I'll go over and explain all of the general techniques, and then I'll break away into some build specific movement towards the end of the video. So slide jumping doesn't actually help you get around the map faster, and sprinting normally is usually better, but I would throw in a slide jump or two every once in a while to help throw off the enemy's aim. Then there's edge boosting. Whenever you get to the edge of whatever you're on, slide and it will give you a speed boost. It's the same speed as a normal slide, however you don't lose the momentum because you are in the air instead of dragging your body against the ground. So you can either do a standard edge boost for extra speed and then sprint once you hit the ground, or you can keep holding on to slide and get an extra slide boost. If you do decide to do the second slide, it will probably make you harder to hit, but it is a little bit slower than going directly into your sprint. Then there is bunny hopping, which helps you keep some of your momentum after building up some speed. All you have to do is jump every time you hit the ground after building up some speed, and it will help you hold onto it as long as possible. After a few bunny hops, your speed will start to slow down, so when you feel yourself getting to around the same speed as a normal sprint, you can stop bunny hopping. It's also worth mentioning that I find it works best on angled surfaces where you can keep a ton of momentum with bunny hopping. And then we have air strafing. So air strafing allows you to change directions while in the air. Super easy to do, just hold down the directional input for whatever direction you want to go, and then slowly move your camera in the same direction. You can choose whether or not you want to hold your forward input. If you do, it will take you further, but the air strafe won't be as exaggerated. And do always keep in mind that when you are air strafing, you are cutting out how far you will go. So if you're padding over the edge of the map, be careful so you don't fall off and turn yourself into a trophy. Then we have arguably the most advanced movement tech in the game, Supergliding. So full credit to Nava on X for the Supergliding clip you just saw, and their content helped me learn this Supergliding tech so I can teach it to you all now. So the first and the easiest method requires goo grenades, which thankfully every build has. Then you want to throw one at the ground like so, get on top of the goo, and then throw another nade at the end slightly off to the right. Then you should be able to destroy this part of the goo, while the 2x2 piece on the right stays sticking off to the side. Then for the Superglide, the first thing you want to do is jump and mantle. The second step is to press W and D while moving your camera so that you're looking straight into the goo beside you. The third step is to turn your camera back into the direction you want to Superglide while letting go of W and D and holding onto A. To make it more consistent, you want to make sure your hand doesn't come out and make you start climbing. As you can see here, it just doesn't work. Instead, you want to make sure your contestant keeps his gun out while mantling to hit the Superglide. And to do this, you want to make sure you're at the top of your jump height before you start the mantle. The other method is to do it in window. It is the same idea, however, I find it a bit harder and it requires the ability to be destroyed in a specific way around you, making it very rare to pull off in a game. Supergliding is not easy to do whatsoever, so don't be too hard on yourself if you're struggling to master it. If you want to mantle something up high, all you have to do is look up before jumping. Then using that trick, it can help you with the next movement tech, window hopping, which allows you to climb up buildings by scaling the windows. So to window hop, all you have to do is look up and walk backwards out the window. Then you want to jump and hold your forward input to get to the next window. This movement tech is really useful as it allows you to get up a building without needing to use the stairs, making you unpredictable, and it is much faster than taking the stairs. But if you are going to take the stairs, I have a movement tech for you to use them faster. What you want to do is get around the middle of the stairs, then jump mantle, do a 180, and then repeat. Every build can do this, but it is much easier with a light build since they are shorter and won't hit their head off the top as much. If you are medium or heavy, you can still do it. You just need to move over a little bit to the side before jumping. If you take a look at the side-by-side comparison, this stair climb tech is much faster than running up the stairs. Then another simple movement trick, you get a quick speed boost if you jump off a zipline early, and you will also go further. So normally when you take a zipline, you get placed at the end without any additional speed or distance. But if you jump off the zip before it's finished, you will go further and faster. Now when you do this, make sure you wait a second between the time you interact with the zipline and the time that you jump off. If you jump off immediately after attaching, you won't get any of the speed or the distance. Then once you get that down, you can learn the Zipline Strafe. This is a perfect movement tech to help keep yourself alive on a zipline. All you need to do is attach yourself to a zipline, wait a second, and then jump off, do a 180 and reattach. Wait another second to build up the speed boost again, and then repeat. You can also do a similar sort of thing on horizontal ziplines to make it a little bit harder for enemies to hit you. Whenever you go into a jump pad, slide into it to go further. As you can see here, it takes you further and you move faster in the air, making you harder to hit. The only time I would suggest not sliding into a pad is if you want to go directly up, in which case walking onto it would be better. Before we hop into the build specific movement tech, there's a couple things I would like to mention. According to YouTube, only 20% of you are subscribed to the channel. It would mean a lot if you hit that subscribe button, as I plan on making a lot more videos on the finals that you won't want to miss. Subscribing is completely free and it means a lot to creators like me. And if you're looking for a safe place to chat about the game, or you need new players to team up with, make sure you join my Discord server, and you can find that linked in the description below. So for the light build, there's a ton of unique movement tech that you want to be taking advantage of. So most players only ever dash straight ahead of them, but you can dash in any direction as long as you're holding that directional input. So if I want to dash backwards, I'll hold S or backwards on my left thumbstick and then dash. Or if I want to dash to the left or the right, I would hold down A or D or push my left thumbstick to the left or the right before dashing. Then you could also dash on a diagonal if you choose. Now this is much better than turning your camera and then dashing, as it allows you to keep your gun pointed towards the enemy the entire time. You can also dash vertically by looking straight up before you dash. And this is really useful for getting up to hard to reach places, as it takes you up higher than a standard jump. Then you can also dash downwards, which comes in handy when you accidentally hit a jump pad or you're stuck floating in the air with low gravity. Being in the air makes you a very easy target, as you have no cover and you move in a predictable path. So you should be using your dash to quickly get to the ground. So we had to cover the basics of the evasive dash, so we can get into the more advanced tech. This next one I call a pad dash. So when you do your normal slide onto a jump pad, you don't go that far and you're still a bit slow. Even if you dash at the height of your jump boost, you aren't going much further. Instead, use your evasive dash onto the jump pad and you will get a ton of distance very fast. You can also do this on the jump pads that the medium players place, however, that still won't help you against a heavy player's nukes. And if you made it this far in the video, go comment down below, nerf the nukes. Thanks for the comment, and you can also take the pad sideways using the trick we just mentioned. To use your grappling hook effectively, you need to know how to use your movement keys to help guide you. You basically want to move your directional inputs in the opposite direction of where you want to go. So if I want to get on top of this ledge and I hold W or forward on my left thumbstick, I'm going to face plant right underneath the ledge. Now if I do the same thing but I hold S or backwards on my left thumbstick, it will pull me over the ledge. It works the same if you want to grapple something on the side. If I try to get up here, I want to be holding the directional input in the opposite direction of where the ledge is. It's also worth noting that the grapple works even if you're facing the other direction. Using the grappling hook, you can do a budget dash. All you have to do is grapple towards the ground in front of you, and then make sure you jump before you reach the end of the grapple. This will carry your momentum forward and can help you get around a lot faster. I said it was a budget dash, but in reality, it's probably a lot better than a dash because you go further and you keep more momentum. You should also be using bunny hops after you grapple dash to keep the extra speed as long as possible. Now for an actual advanced grapple trick, using the grappling hook and some barrels, you can fly around the map. All you have to do is attach your motion sensor to the side of the barrel. Then you want to grab the barrel from the opposite side. Once you grabbed it, throw it and then grapple onto it. Now, this is definitely a montage worthy movement tech once you get the hang of it. Then this next trick is for anyone trying to get good with the sword. So if I do a secondary fire with the sword, it gives me a little boost around here. Then if you do an evasive dash, it takes you a little bit further, about here. Then if I use my secondary fire and then immediately dash, it takes you even further. This is super useful for sword players, as the hardest part about using it is closing the distance between you and your enemy. Then for the medium build, with the jump pad, of course you want to be sliding onto it most of the time to get the speed and the distance. Then if you want to get a quick slide onto a pad, what you want to do is hold it while you are running. Then you want to look forwards or a little bit up to the sky. Then you want to slide and place your pad directly after. The most important thing is that you aren't looking down when you do it, otherwise you will place it right behind you and you won't hit the pad at all. It's also worth noting that if you place a pad on a slope, it will give you more speed and distance in the direction the pad is facing. Then if you place your pad on Goo, it allows you to get a lot more control over the angle of your jump pad. And then if you don't have a jump pad or you want to save it, you can place down turrets on the side of buildings and use them to climb up. Now into the heavy build, we have the same idea, except this time we are using the Goo gun. You can also make a Goo Tower by jumping and then shooting Goo under your feet. Then keep repeating this until you reach your desired height. Just make sure you wait a moment between jumps, otherwise you might get jump fatigue and the Goo will push you off the tower. You can also make a Goo Bridge by shooting a straight line of Goo between 2 points you want to cross. These Goo tricks aren't anywhere close to the light or medium builds movement, but it's the best we have. Then another niche movement trick for heavy is placing a barricade and then using it to climb up to hard to reach places. So movement is essential if you want to be a high tier player in the finals, but it won't do much for you unless you master the fundamentals of the game, which is why you need to watch this video of 100 tips and tricks to learn everything about the finals. And if you already watched it, YouTube thinks you would like to watch this video up on the screen now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.